I want to share a story of real life integration. So, integration in action. So, a personal story from this week. So, a couple days ago, I was doing a breathwork journey, and my facilitator asked me what my intention was. And I realized that I had been working on crafting an intention in the days leading up to the journey, and it was going to be about creativity, like my creative process and the things that I'm like building and creating in my life right now. And the night before, actually the whole day before, I had this cramp that was like coming into my side, like really sharp. It would really just like seize up and like scream at me. And it had kept me awake through most of the night before as well. And it actually got to the point where I even had the thought, oh, am I going to do the breathwork journey? Am I going to be able to breathe? And I really quickly caught that. I mean, I had been looking forward to this breathwork journey. I breathe on my own a lot, but it is very different when you have the facilitator there holding space and offering intuitive guidance, so you can drop in deeper. And so I was aware that this was my body that was kind of stirring shit up, my body saying, oh yeah, like let's not go there. And so I knew that it was my body, it was my mind, trying to keep me familiar, and that there was something I needed to look at. So I changed my intention to be about my health. It's hard for me to feel like really creative and in creative flow if I feel like crap. And so my intention became about feeling good in my body, feeling strong and clear and vital in my body. So I start breathing, and it was a hard journey, in terms of like just having to choose every breath, but I was really determined. And again, having this facilitator there is like so helpful. And so I kept going. And then when we stopped the active breath, like things really began. And what would happen is the cramp would actually come, and it would just like squeeze. And I could feel like my attention, my life force energy, like my body, like everything would like follow it. Like my whole state of being was just like hooked, and it was just like, ah. And it was just very potent. And then I had the realization that what I needed to do was let go, and that I needed to see if I could keep my attention and my life force and my energy centered even when this pain like hooked me and gripped me. And this realization, I want to be clear, didn't come from my brain trying to figure anything out. Like it came from the field, it came from my own subconscious. Like I let go and I am strong. I let go and I'm clear. I let go and I'm vital. And so I practiced that, and I would get to the place of letting go, and I would have this moment of just pure bliss. It was amazing. And as soon as I felt that, then I would get hooked again. And so it was like really teaching me or giving me this opportunity to like exercise my attention and my ability to discern, my ability to center myself. And then I would get this reference point of bliss of like, this is what's available, when you don't let yourself get hooked. And so it was really powerful, like in that experience. And actually the pain is gone. The cramping stopped because I integrated it, in that rest period is where this, I call it like working out at the consciousness gym, where you're like building these muscles of discernment and you're practicing, the integration real time. And so that was awesome. And, but it continues. So at the end of breathwork journeys, I always advise people to keep an open focus throughout their day, to expect magic, signs, synchronicities, situations, expect there to be like a presentation of things that can allow you to exercise your muscles, your awareness muscles further. or insights or guidance that'll come. And we'll talk about expectations another time, because this isn't like an expectation of exactly how it will come, but it is more of a opening your focus to allow things to drop in that are related and connected to all this work that you've just put in, because breath work is work. So I follow my own advice. And before I go to sleep, I set some intentions for my dream world about continuing the work that I started in the breathwork journey and continuing to relax into this letting go, and how that can be the right action sometimes. And I was in like an in-between state. Like I wasn't quite asleep. It wasn't necessarily dreams. I was lucid, but I was in this like in-between state. And all these memories started to come up, like one after another after another. It was like a Rolodex of memories, and they were really old, like 20 years old in some cases, like so many, and some kind of seemed related and some not so much, but there were two main themes that were there. One was audacity. There were memories of times where I just like really took charge, really took up space, really spoke out, and just had a lot of, audacious energy. And then the other ones were more about shame and regret and not so fun, like really that's been living or hiding out somewhere inside me, like for all these years, like, oh. And because of the advice I give others and practice myself, I went back to the breathwork journey and this idea of this like cramp. And I realized like I was having shame cramps, that, and it was like really hooking my energy and taking me into this like vortex of like, oh, what else can we grab at to, oh, that time you felt shame, or, oh yeah, you really regret that, don't you? And just like, it was, about to be a force itself. But because of the breathwork journey and because of the practice I had done there, I applied it in the moment. And so I practiced letting go. I practiced, thanking these memories for coming up, like, oh, you feel safe to be seen by me. And I'm not going to reject you, and I'm not going to shame you for the shame, or, by feeling the shame again, I'm going to see you, thank you, love you, and let you go. And so that is what I did. And then there was the realization, the connection that the audacity, like the memories related to that, were from times where I just wasn't quite practiced yet. And yeah, it was still very much, it was like in my 20s, or, still very much working on maturity in my style of leadership or facilitation, or, and so in some ways I like loved the part of me that just took up her space and said what she had to say and took charge and things like that. And on the other hand, I could see how at the time, it felt like, ooh, that was too much, or, or took me into a place of shame, and how these experiences were coming up now to show me where I have the skills now to be audacious without the shame spiral, or, audacious without, really caring or taking on judgments of others, or, oh, what does she think she's doing, or, doing things perfectly. I mean, you name it, like all of the things. And there was just this permission to be audacious. So last thing here, I made the connection that piece was, and decoupling it from the shame, I was able to let go of the shame, but then keep the audacity, which was related to the original intention I wanted to have, which was around my creative process. And it was this permission to be audacious, permission to take up space. Like, yes, you do know what you're doing. And if anyone, thinks otherwise, then okay, they are so welcome to have their own thoughts. And I don't have to hold that for anyone. And, oh, something else just came. Well, I don't know. We'll see if it comes back. But so there's this permission to be audacious. This is what it was. I'm still alive. Like, I'm still alive. Like, I was audacious and it didn't have the perfect result or wasn't received, the way I wanted it to, but I can like be with her. I can be with that version of me and be like, what was it in her that, that like sparked that? And, where is that still alive in me? Where can I use that like now more on purpose, like more consciously? And if I survived it then, I can definitely survive it now that I am, where I am, and I have more tools, and I have had many, many, many workouts at the consciousness gym. So it was interesting that I received something from the original intention. And I'm bringing that part up specifically because I'll do another video on intention. I've just been hearing a lot from people lately that they're either deciding to let the universe come up with their intention for them, the universe or the medicine or the breath, or, it'll just show me. So I'm going to surrender to that. And, again, I'll cover it in a different video, but there's some things to talk about there. Or I've heard people sharing that they came up with their intention and really were thoughtful about it, and then felt that the experience that they had didn't like marry up with it and didn't, wasn't related. And so in this story, it's like it just can show you how many layers there are, and how if you do want to hand it over to the universe, we're working on like all these timelines that like converge in the experience, but there's layers and there's a lot more going on than we could ever even be aware of in the moment. So we are asked to exert some level of trust. But again, that'll be a different video about intentions. For now, this is about integration in real time. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this will be a podcast. But let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for tuning in.